Okay, so the next item in the chain of potential causes of these weak flippers is the leaf switch on the flipper buttons. So if you compare the old leaf switches with these nice brand new ones, and you look at the contacts, you'll see these have got much better, beautiful, thick contacts. And what happens is as you push the flipper button in, little rod comes through and forces the flipper button to push against the leaf switch and to close the switch. So if you zoom in, you can see that's the old one and that's going to be the new one. So that might be our problem over there. So let me get started in removing that now. I've got the new leaf switch here. It gets mounted with the long side against the cabinet, so when it pushes in like that, creates the contact. It's probably better to actually get them in place before we solder them on. So the first thing is to just take these out. There's the L button. I'm going to keep that metal plate on the end. Start with a nice fresh cut. There's all sorts of corrosion on here. The wire strippers, these you can make quite long, they can get a nice loop around the lug. One in, solder in place quickly. Just give it a nice twirl on. Okay, that's a nice solder joint. Little protected housing of plastic loop, plastic tubing which can go up and over here. That's a pretty easy job to do. I'll just quickly do the other side. Now the other side's a bit more fiddly because you've got the shooter rod in place. Let's have a look and see how that one fits in. So this one's a bit trickier to get hold of, get into, because it's just got the shooter rod in its way. It's not too bad. I might solder these on before I put it back on. Keep the little metal bracket that sits on top of here. And screws. This one doesn't look nearly as bad shape as the other one. I mean, if you compare these two, this one looks, this is the one from the left flipper and it's in much worse condition, which may be the reason for the weaker flipper. But if you compare them to the nice new ones, whilst I've got this all open, I may as well replace it. So solder joints. Get the second one. Okay, solder done, and then we put it with the long end again against the button, and let's try to reuse these holes. Okay, so these are all done. So the last thing to do is just to make sure these switches are adjusted. And so you want these to have a gap. And then obviously as you touch the flippers, it closes the switch. And this one's actually not too bad. The other one on the other side has got an issue which I need to fix up. But you can see here, that's the sort of perfect gap. Let's go to the other side and have a look. So on this side you can see the gap is just a little bit too big. So you need to adjust it. To adjust it, you can use one of these leaf switch adjustment tools, or just a pair of needle nose pliers at the base. But the key is, if I zoom in a bit, you try to get the adjustment as low as possible. And on these, you've got, actually, I think that it's going to be easier with these needle nose pliers. It would have to be on the side as the shooter, wouldn't it? Okay, so that's obviously too much. That's closed. So that's really is a bit fiddly, this. Okay, so that's adjusted. That's a much better gap. Let's get this play field down and see if this has been, these are the problems, particularly on this side, which was, you know, if you have a look at what we had before and we've got now, if you look at these, this is just terrible. This has got to help improve the performance of the flippers. Okay, so first thing, just if I haven't broken anything, let's turn on and see what happens. It doesn't go pop. Beautiful, nothing going bang. Let's see if, yeah, I still haven't fixed the flippers perfectly. I'm going to replace the bats next. That works on this side. That works on this side. Let's have a look and see if this flipper is any stronger. That's significantly better. Yeah, that's much better. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now let me just do the flippers and we can move on from there. Okay, so now I'm just going to replace these flipper bats because they're actually cracked, but these are the old Bally flipper bats, which have got a metal component which you literally can, in the old days you could simply unscrew the screw and you could replace the flipper bat, because these are the bits that are going to break, as is the case here where this one's cracked. Nowadays you can't buy these anymore, from what I've been able to establish, but a lot of pinball places sell, parts places now sell replica parts. Now here's an example of the replica part. It's very similar. If you measure these in terms of the length would be the keep component. The original without the rubbers on it are, what is that at the top? 75 millimeters. The new ones are 75 and a half. So slightly half a millimeter longer, which I suppose in the big picture is not the end of the world. In terms of their width and things, they look identical. The rod is a little bit longer on the replica, which is interesting, but shouldn't cause any issues. But when you look at this in comparison to a classic Bally Williams flipper bat, you'll notice that they're a lot fatter, and the Bally Williams is actually shorter. The regular Bally Williams are 73 and a half, so 73.6, so these are considerably shorter. Now the standard, I'm just going to use standard rubbers on these. These are 1.5 inch rubbers, and I'm going to go for the orange because I think they match nicely with the game. So let me pop them on. They're a lot easier to put on when it's out of the game. So those look really nice on there and they're going to match into the game. So we'll do those two. There's the other side. Okay, that is on. That can go in. I haven't loosened this one yet, but I'll do that quickly now and we can get the other ones in. Okay, so we've made some significant improvements in getting the flippers a bit stronger, refreshed. I've got the new bats on. The last thing I need to just do, probably to really future-proof this, is to redo the headers and the plug that goes down to the solenoids that drive both the flippers and the kick out. So if you look on the schematic, you'll see that it's in plug J1 up here. Let me zoom in and you can see. Okay, so it's this plug in here. There's only 3 wires going into it. If I take that off, you'll see that the connectors have actually recently been replaced. So I'm not going to do those. What I am going to do though is this plug, because the connectors are a bit tarnished and this can cause some issues. These connectors are the old school connectors. I'm going to replace them with trifurcon connectors, which connect on 3 sides. I'll show you the difference if I can get this out now. I've got one of these little cool tools that helps me get all these connectors out. So literally you just pick one, depress the bit of metal that shows up on the back of the plug, and you can actually push the connector out. It saves the plug basically. If I can get these out. There we go, that's the second one out. So I've loosened these all now and they each just come out. Now I've already taken a picture of this. This plug is definitely savable. So whilst I've got it zoomed in, let me try and explain the difference between, well, let me cut one off, hang on. This one is the old connector, and these are the new trifurcon connectors, and what you can see is that they've got little wings on the side. You can see on the side of the connector, so when the pin goes in, it'll grab it on 3 sides rather than just pressing against it on 2, so you get a much better connection. So that's what we're going to replace it with. Well, save you the trouble, and when we come back this connector will be done. It's only 3 pins, it'll be pretty quick. Pin 1, 2 and 5. Okay, so this refurb is complete now. We've changed, to start with, the flipper bats that were cracked, the rubbers obviously. We've realigned the flipper bats a little. We've changed the coils, we've changed all the hardware based on flipper rebuild kit. We also replaced the flipper button, leaf switches. We also did the connector in the back box. So now the proof of the pudding is going to be whether this game is significantly improved, if the flippers are stronger. So one of the key components of this game is the shot off the left flipper up to rip that spinner. So let's get that going and see if this will help. So look, that's it. That's the end of this video of a complete rebuild of the flippers on the Supersonic from Bally. We replaced all of the hardware around the flippers, including the solenoids. We replaced the flipper bats, we repinned the connectors. This game is much better now. You can really rip the spinner, which is a key component to scoring well on this game. Really happy with how it's turned out. Took me a while to get there, but you know, it all is very simple to do. If you like this channel, you can subscribe to it. Leave a comment if you've got any questions or suggestions. Thanks for watching. Until next time.